I'm going to start the record, and I want to welcome everyone to my first Blab. This is new technology, but it's been around for a while. I don't know if it's necessarily new technology. It's just a new app, a new way to communicate with people and have a discussion and allow people to come in there. I see Phil is here. Good morning, Phil. I know it's an hour early in California. Those who are joining us, if you want to go ahead and let us know your name, let us know where you're at. And in just a moment, we'll start. I'll give you a bit of information on myself and then let Drew and Max. And then when Andre comes on board, let him talk a little bit about himself. We're going to talk about effective ways to market on Udemy because a lot of people tend to post coupons in groups, and those groups are full of other Udemy instructors. Now, maybe some of those courses that we have, like I have a Udemy marketing course, that it would be targeted to Udemy instructors, but a coding course or something like that might not be something that a Udemy instructor is interested in. So if you continue to post coupons all the time in those groups, your message is just not really being seen. It's getting drowned out by other coupons. And so we can do things like maybe be more targeted in our social media. And that's why I'm going to have Drew talk about Facebook ads, because I've been doing social media for quite a while, but I'm not an expert on Facebook ads. And we're going to have Maxx talking about one of my favorite subjects where I'm a little more knowledgeable, which is email marketing. He's got a great course on list building. So we'll talk about how you can build a list of individuals, so when you release a new course that you can market to those individuals and you don't have these peaks and valleys in your monthly sales. I'll be honest, I didn't have a good month last month. My best month was back in May, and then things kind of dropped down since then, and I'm hoping that it's going to pick up as we go into fall, as we saw last year going into Black Friday. So right now is a good time to talk about some of that stuff like blogging and webinars and YouTube and Blab and email marketing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll pass it to Drew and Max and then Andre when he gets back. My name is Dennis, and I've been on Udemy since July of last year. I can't really remember how I came across the platform. I created a course on WordPress, which was marketing, because I've been doing WordPress for several years. And when I put the course out there, I had no clue, like, really how I was going to market it, because it was just myself. And then I came across Udemy, and I thought, wow, this is cool, because here's a platform that already has people going to a marketplace and buying things and whatnot. So I started moving courses over there, creating more courses, because I started learning from other instructors and knew that things like having additional courses so you could cross-promote to your students were things that you could do to sell more courses. And then I started taking some of the other things like email marketing and other things that I knew about, like creating a Facebook group, because I like helping other individuals be successful too. And Andre's back, so I'm going to let him on board here. And anyway, I've written a book on social media. I'm hoping to write more books. I've got a couple of more courses that I've got in the works, including one on how to do webinars, because I think that webinars are an effective way to do marketing as long as we're doing them right. I still can learn a little bit more about the whole technique myself, but I've done several of them. I feel comfortable doing them. And so I think that, you know, that's something that you should explore as instructors. But I'm going to pass it on to Drew, and Drew, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move to Max and Andre.
All right. Thanks, Dennis. My name's Drew. I live in Tampa, Florida. The Twitter handle I'm using for this Blab is a new little project I have upcoming. I'm going to enter the podcasting world as the freelancepreneur ninja. So I took this chance to kind of promote that Twitter handle. I own my own little social media marketing company called Rev La Vie Media. And so for a couple years now, I've been running Facebook ads for small businesses and on a personal level also. So I've seen things change over the past couple years with the Facebook ads platform. Slowly but surely, they get better. And so hopefully I can help answer some questions that you might have about marketing your course on Facebook. I'll have a couple little YouTube videos that I'll share in the chat. One's kind of titled The Power of Facebook, and it kind of shows you some of the creepiness that is Facebook's information gathering. And the other one is some good little tips if you have WordPress websites like most of us do on how to set up your custom audience and tracking pixels on your WordPress site so you can start gathering some leads, some custom audiences to be able to run more targeted Facebook ads. So thanks to Dennis for asking me to be on here, and I look forward to helping you all out.
Thanks, Drew. I appreciate that. Before we move to Maxx, I just wanted to remind people that over off to the left there is that button to tell a little bird. That's actually letting people know on Twitter about today's Blab. I would love it if you could click on that. Also, if you're a Udemy instructor and there's new instructors that are asking questions because it's a little bit difficult to multitask, I would love it if maybe you could jump in and answer that question. You can hover over a participant's name or comment, and you get a little star there. You can star it, and then right next to it is a reply arrow, and you can click on reply and answer the question for that individual. And while other people are speaking, I'll try to do that, but I want to make sure that I hear them speaking so I can continue the flow of today's discussion. So thank you very much. And you can introduce yourself, and you can also let us know where you're from. And if you have a course, feel free to put in one of your coupons if you have a particular course that you would like to share, but just make it one coupon, please, per instructor. So let's go ahead and move on to Maxx and have Maxx tell us a little bit about himself.
Okay, Dennis, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good? Perfect. Well, my name is Maxx, and right now I live in Santiago, Chile. And I started marketing and creating basically educational content when I was 17. I'm 24 years old now, and my Udemy account was actually created in 2011, but I really didn't start publishing courses like to make money on Udemy until a couple of years ago, like 2012 or 2013. Basically, what I did is that I partnered with a friend of mine who was currently traveling with his girlfriend. And one day I approached to him and I told him about Udemy and that I saw like a great opportunity there. And we started creating content for marketers, like everything they needed to build a business online, from creating the website to creating the logo, to SEO, social media. Then we moved to branding, product development, sales psychology, and we basically have created like 11 or 12 courses just on the area of creating a business online. And as you said, the awareness of the platform, given the fact that new technology is coming every day, everyone started like finding out new ways to create new content and recording videos. And it's basically, I really like how Udemy integrates with all the things that you can do online. For example, having a blog, having a podcast, your Twitter account, everything that you have online can be used to promote your Udemy courses. But I really think that some people on Udemy overlook the fact that building a list is one of the greatest assets that you can have as a marketer. And it's something that Udemy is really jealous about. They try to restrict you to build your own list so that they can have the power to market and to make money from your students. So what you need to do as a Udemy instructor is to find that loophole in which you can start building your own list, you know? And one of the ways that you can do that, for example, is you can create a blog. And in that blog, you can create an opt-in form, for example, at the top. And then you just send people to that blog and make them opt in a non-intrusive way, because you can't send them to a squeeze page otherwise, given the fact that Udemy just changed their strike policies, because you make 3 violations to their terms of service and they just shut down your course. So we really need to keep an eye out for that as well. So basically we need to know how to start building a list without having to violate Udemy's terms of service. I have a course on list building where I cover all of this. My newest course is an affiliate marketer, but the one before is on list building, and I'll just post the coupon that I created for Blab, so everyone that's watching this can join for $9. And I'm looking forward to seeing this community grow and seeing how this new technology affects us as instructors.
Awesome. Thanks, Max. We're waiting for Andre to come back, so I'm going to leave the seat open there for a few minutes for him. If not, then what I would like to do is probably have Jeremy come on board. And then after that, if we have some people drop off, I'll be more than happy to have people jump in and join the discussion with us. But I've got kind of a structure set up for today's discussion so that it doesn't jump all over the place. And so we have Drew, who's going to be talking about Facebook ads, and I'm going to have Max talk a little bit more about email marketing. But we'll start with blogging, and we'll just talk a little bit about it because we've got about an hour and a half, so we want to make sure that we're mindful of everyone's time so we don't run over, because I've seen some of these blabs go for 2 and 3 hours, and I want to make sure that we learn, but also that we have the rest of our day to spend to be productive, because that's one of my biggest things is that I just, don't have a productive day if I do too much of the reading stuff online and webinars and all of that. So let's talk about blogging. And if you have a blog, go ahead, and you're promoting your Udemy courses on that blog, go ahead and post a link to that blog there in the comments if you would like. I've been blogging for a couple of years now, or more than a couple of years, probably long enough that I've forgotten exactly how long. And I use the WordPress platform, and I use WordPress because it's the one that most people are using. It's really easy to use, and it has plugins which allow you to add more functionality to it, and also build in things like e-commerce and things like plugins that are out there where you can sell your courses online and market your courses yourself if you want to. Now, there are other platforms out there. I believe that Blogger is still around, and that's a Google platform. And there's also, I don't forget the name there. I know it starts with a T. It's not Twitter.
Tumblr?
Tumblr, yes. And I've done Tumblr and all of that, but the thing with WordPress is that you can have a .com domain, and so it's going to hopefully rank on Google and bring people over to your website. Let's talk about that, Drew and Max. What kind of blogging are you doing with your courses? Have you started that?
Well, I typically will take some of the YouTube videos that I'll make with some tips and transcribe them into a blog post. That way, through my social media channels, I'm sharing relevant content that people can get something from. And that's kind of the big thing, is blogging about relevant content and sharing it with your audience. Because as we all know, it's about adding value to it. And so what I'll do with my personal Facebook ads is I'll drive ads to those blog posts. I won't drive them directly to signing up to my Udemy course or any of my personal personal training type stuff, I'll drive them to that blog post. One, I'm capturing them into a custom audience within my Facebook ads platform. Two, I have email opt-in forms on my blog in various locations. So if somebody chooses to, they can sign up, for a free ebook or a discount to my Udemy course. That's pretty much where I promote my discounts, is on my own blog. And so I've seen a lot more traffic and response because of that, as opposed to, say, running an ad, hey, get 90% off this course, pretty please. That way the people are familiarizing themselves with you. You're making that personal connection. They're getting something from it, and they're realizing, you know what, there's a lot more to this than just adding some tracking pixels to my website. Maybe I will get this guy's course for a discount and learn a little bit more. So that's what I do for my own businesses. And then depending on the small businesses that I help out for their ads, will convey those messages in different forms. But what I've found on the Facebook platform, you get a lot better response if you're trying to engage your audience as opposed to being salesy.
Yeah, I agree that you want to build relationships with people before you sell to them. People do business with those who they know, like, and trust. So, Max, what about yourself?
Well, we currently have, we haven't done much blogging yet, but I have written a couple of blogs in the past. But what we basically do is that we create, well, first of all, we have seen which are the blog posts that get more organic views, organic traffic, and also most shares. So we try first, we do this like if it was a science, because we try first to see, for example, we know that posts between 3,000 and 5,000 words are the most optimal, for example, for Google to pick them up. And also, if you have a lot of images, if you have one image every 150 words and so on. So for traffic, what we do is not just create content. For example, what I do is that I have a course on list building. So I take valuable content from that course and I turn it into a blog post. But I just don't turn it into a blog post. I do a slide share presentation, a YouTube video, an Instagram post, several chain of tweets and so on. I try to use blogging as just one of the links within this this method in order for us to bring traffic to our coupon codes. And what Drew here said about giving them something before taking them to the course, like driving them to an article or making them subscribe to your email list, is really important, because I think the Udemy approach is really impersonal. You need to be able to give them something of your own touch before sending them to Udemy, because that way you can gain them they differentiate yourself and gain their trust before actually making the sale. So that's really, really something.
Yeah, I think that that's a good idea, and something that I've never really thought about myself. Instead of thinking about blog posts, like what to blog, is take what you already have in your Udemy course and turn that into a blog post, and also share it out there, like you said, on YouTube. And I know that one of the other places that you've been doing some sharing on is SlideShare, correct?
Yeah, that's actually a really good, because basically if you're creating Udemy courses, you create presentations for your, or slides for your videos.
Yeah.
So basically what you do is you either take those same slides or you modify them a bit so you don't have to actually speak on them and just post them on SlideShare. You can also add audio to SlideShare, and now they allow videos.
Wow.
And the thing about SlideShare is that they just got bought by LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And they are basically doing this thing in which you can market yourself as a professional through slides presentation, because they figured out, okay, most professional people do presentation at some point in their life.
Yeah.
So basically link this together, and this just happened. So it's a really great opportunity to start like making yourself an authority in any niche by posting slide presentations.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. Andre, welcome back. We'll have you tell a little bit about yourself in just a moment. I just want to do a couple of reminders that Drew, Max, and yourself, if you can, watch the comments over here for questions while somebody else is talking, and see if you can answer those questions for those who are participating in today's discussion. Also, for those of you that are joining us over there in that upper left-hand corner, I would love it if you click on Tell a Little Bird and share this out and let people know that we're doing this discussion on effective Udemy marketing today. And up above in the circles there, if you hover over those circles, you can follow other individuals here on Blab, and you can also find them on Twitter. And then the last thing, those hands there at the bottom, if you want to give the speakers props for information that we're giving you, click on those or click on us, and that'll give us props just to let us know that you're enjoying what we're talking about today. So, Andre, let's hear a little bit about yourself first, and then we're talking about blogging. Let us know if you blog. I know that I took a look at your courses. You've done online marketing, so tell us about yourself and what you do as far as blogging goes.
Okay. My apologies for all the initial hiccups, but I was using Firefox and I switched to Chrome, and it's much smoother with Chrome. Anyways, my a little bit of my background. I live in Sarasota, and much of my internet marketing experience comes from having led a internet marketing mastermind group for about 5 years. We had about 700 members, etc. So my initial courses were really, or are still targeted at the insights I gained in leading that group. My initial course was basically the 7 mistakes that most online marketers make, and it's really not doing well, but it's over those 5 years I saw hundreds of people come through, and certain things kept repeating and repeating and repeating, and so I thought that information like that would be pretty useful. But so anyways, I have 3 courses on Udemy now. I just put the last one out a couple of weeks ago. I have it out there for free, and my intention is that once I get around 1,500 subscribers, and I have around 12 or 1,300 now, I'll make it paid. And that was on the advice of Mark
Timberlake.
Yes. So anyhow, I'm just and I do have a site. I have a blog, and the blog or site is under my name. And as part of that site, I have a blog page, and all the articles really deal with the subject that I have out on Udemy. But I'm groping for answers as to how to do things better. In other words, I'm very open to learning about what works and what does not work, and maybe even have to change my focus, which is okay. So that's basically where I'm at. I'm plugged into Mark's calls on Sunday. I was on the call last evening with yourself, Dennis, and I think the host name was Dave.
Yes, Dave,
right? Right. So I'm very open to joining the conversation and learning and how to do it better. On the other hand, if I can be of any help on the internet marketing side, I would be very glad to help out.
Great. Thank you. Welcome. I appreciate it. And glad you were able to make it back there. Sometimes technology works in weird ways. I like Firefox, but I use Chrome. I'm on a MacBook because I moved from a Windows PC, and sometimes the MacBook frustrates me. So,
okay.
But I think there's some good points in there. Some things to remember when we're talking about this stuff is that some of the stuff that we talk about is not going to work for everyone. Now, I think blogging in general, I really think that that's something that everyone should do. It's tied to the more content that you have out there, the more that you're out there with blogging and YouTube and social media, the more that people are going to run into you. I have a philosophy of be everywhere. So be on Facebook, be on Twitter, Pinterest. It doesn't mean that it's going to take a lot of time to maintain all of those places. It's really easy to share that stuff out. Maxx was talking about with SlideShare, you've already got PowerPoint slides, most likely. Excuse me. So why not share them out on SlideShare? I've been doing stuff on SlideShare, and I should be sharing my courses out there. And that's why I do stuff like this, because sometimes I need reminders that, oh, that's right, I need to do that. I need to be out on SlideShare. Or with this Blab, a lot of people just started talking about this, and I'm like, I need to try this. And so, I like connecting people. I feel comfortable with webinars. That's one of the things that we're going to touch briefly on. And then I want to move to Facebook ads after that. So just to let Drew know that he's going to be on the spotlight, because he's talked to me about Facebook ads, and I suck at Facebook ads, at getting results. And so he's got some stuff that we can talk about with that.
I've been harping on Dennis for a month now to add some tracking pixels to his WordPress site, and he keeps ignoring me. So now it's public, and all these people know, Dennis, that you're not taking action like you're supposed to. So the pressure's on.
What's the tracking pixel?
Good. Go ahead real quick.
So with the Facebook ads platform, Andre, you can actually track your visitors to your website with some custom audience pixels and conversion tracking pixels that Facebook makes available. I put a link to a YouTube video on the site. If you have a WordPress website, it'll show you how to install those. That video is a little old. Depending on the theme you're using, there are easier ways. So check that out. That'll at least get you started. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about that pretty soon, and hopefully not get distracted by Jeremy's raising the roof constantly. Thanks.
I noticed that. Hey, show us all some love, man. So yeah, we'll talk about that, the Facebook ads, in just a little bit. I want to talk just briefly about webinars. I've been doing Hangouts and webinars for a couple of years now, and I've done it with a couple of different platforms, including anymeeting.com, and also I haven't used GoToWebinar. I wouldn't recommend that as a platform if you're just starting out, because it does cost to use it, and it can become costly because they do a monthly subscription. The way that I do it is I use Google Plus Hangouts, and I combine it with WordPress and a product called Lead Pages, which lets you create some awesome landing pages and other pages that are able to be integrated with your Hangout. And I'm doing a course on that, and I hope to have that released here in a few weeks, and do a hangout and talk about that and just let people know a little bit more on how you can do hangouts and webinars and something like this. There's been a lot of talk from other instructors that have done Blab that this is a very easy platform for you to do a webinar type deal and share this out with your students. One of the things that was talked about is inviting your students to a Blab within your Udemy, not your promotional announcements, but your course announcements, educational announcements, because you're not asking for an email address. You're just inviting them to join you. You're not gathering any information yourself from them. And so this is a good platform maybe to consider something like that. What about like Maxx, Drew, and Andre? Have you done webinars, and are there some other platforms maybe that you would recommend? I know that, Drew, you've done some Hangouts with me.
Yeah, I've never done the webinar thing. The Hangouts is the first I've done. I've even been procrastinating on the podcasting thing for the past month because, believe it or not, I am a very social, anxious person. So if it wasn't for Dennis twisting my arm to be on here this morning, I would be hiding in obscurity right now. But slowly but surely, I'm getting used to being on video and that sort of thing, and putting myself out there. For the last couple years working with small businesses, I haven't really needed to kind of put my face in the public forum. But as I'm trying to promote myself more, I'm realizing that's necessary. So little things by adding a picture to the bottom of an email message. You guys have your picture and your Twitter handle. I have my little ninja dude up there in mine. So any way that you can kind of, make that personal connection. Webinars, I know, would do a great job with platforms like Periscope and Blab. Now, I'm starting to wonder how relevant webinars are going to be, because at least the way I look at it, anytime I get an invitation for a webinar, I instantly think, what is that person going to try selling me at the end of it? Whereas like we're doing right here on Blab, we're having a discussion. Yeah, we've put links to our courses in the right-hand side, but that's not the main goal of that. Periscope, also, sure, you might have a product to sell, but you're there trying to share information, raise awareness for you, your brand, and what you bring to the playing field. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Has anybody used Webinar Jam?
I haven't. I used a product that I believe the makers of Webinar Jam were responsible for. But my thoughts on that real quick is I don't like plugins like that, because they typically come in, charge you a couple $100, and then there's some bugs with it that they find along the way that they don't fix quick enough, and then they move on to something else. I've had that happen twice with premium WordPress plugins. That's why I like something like this or Hangouts, where I'm not investing a lot of money.
Right.
So, but I've heard that it works well, but it's just something that I just don't personally go with. What about you, Maxx?
Yeah, I started using Hangouts probably about a year and a half ago, and I used it in combination with the lead pages.
Yeah.
And also included a plugin that allowed it to have a chat box. And in fact, it has a video out there on YouTube. Forgot the guy's name. It's about 21 minutes long or whatever. He goes through the whole he goes through the whole process of setting it up, and the only cost you have is the lead pages.
Yeah, that might actually be from Lead Pages, Bob the Educator or something. But Lead Pages has a group of videos that teach you how. I've got the course that I'm working on is going to show people the different steps, including WordPress, email marketing, Lead Pages, and some other stuff. Because, I mean, it can be really simple, but I think they're like to be effective, you got to know exactly what to do. But I think it's a good platform to use. And I don't see Google Hangouts going away or Lead Pages. Lead Pages is very strong. I actually applied to work on their technical support team. You know how that went because I'm here today.
Okay.
So Max, what about you? Have you done any webinars besides the Hangouts that you and I have done?
Yeah, I did a couple of them when I was working for a company called Inbox, which is an email service provider. And that's how I got into email marketing. I worked with a guy who he just gave me like these little gigs. Create videos, create PDFs. And he basically got me into this whole instructor lifestyle, like this content creation, this video editing. That's how I got started. And then when he created his own email service provider, besides giving me an unlimited account in which we could like get any amount of subscribers and send any amount of emails that we wanted for free, which was really cool. I was in charge of the whole, like you said, educational part, like that video that Lead Pages posted. So I basically created content for that site throughout the course of 2 years. And I also was in charge of doing a monthly webinar. And then I stopped working there and I didn't do any kind of video live thing except for the Hangout that we did. But what I have found out is that in order for us to get comfortable and to create, like, because webinars need to be engaging and they need to follow like a style that people watching. And the best way to do it is to first start by doing a podcast. I recall that Drew told us that he wanted to start a podcast. Well, I've been hearing like a lot of different podcasts, and basically they're great because people can listen to them most of the time for free. And it's a really great way to build your brand. And then when you want to do a webinar, you just step it up one step and you just do it, because webinars have more value. But a podcast is a great way to start interacting with people in this live sort of style.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Until about a month ago, I knew what podcasts were, but I didn't know how popular they were. And maybe that's because I'm an Android user and I'm not an Apple fiend like 98% of the world is. I know you can access podcasts outside of the iOS platform. And so, it's kind of one thing I'm trying to do is find different ways as an instructor, as a small business owner, to promote myself. And so the podcast thing I thought, was a great tool to kind of get my story out there. It's going to be more about kind of my background, my process, my journey, that sort of thing. Whereas probably, my Periscope feed and the Blab stuff will be more specifically related to, how to set up ads, how to enhance your blog content, that sort of thing. So the webinar side of it might come along there, but these new platforms that we're being given seem so powerful to me that I'm in information overload, like I'm sure a lot of people are. So, this is the first Blab I've ever been on. And, I'm glad Dennis asked me to hop on here because it's just going to inspire me to kind of do this stuff a lot more.
Yeah. Drew, let me ask you, what podcasting, are you plugged into any group up in the Tampa area?
No, I'm not actually at all.
why don't we email or PM after this? I have quite a lot of connections up in your area, especially with podcasting and all of that.
Sure, that'd be great. And right there's a perfect example of why these type of Blabs, Hangouts, sessions are so powerful. You know, I'm coming on here to share my expertise about Facebook ads, and Andre here is nice enough to, you know, put me in touch with some of his contacts. So big props to you, Andre. A bunch of high fives coming your way.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know that Jeremy is down there in Florida too. So it's always great to be able to connect people. I'm in Boise where, I mean, we do have a tech community, and that's one of the reasons why I love Seattle so much, is because I feel like I can connect with more people. And so that's why I go up there every now and then. Hey, before we move on, I just wanted to do a couple reminders again. You can raise the roof and you can give props by clicking on those hands to the individuals who are talking if you like what they're talking about. And over here off to the left-hand side where it says tell a little bird, you can let other people know about today's Blab. And if you want to connect with others who are on the Blab right now, those circles at the top, you can hover over those and you can click on follow and follow those individuals, including myself, Drew, Andre, and Max. And you can also find them on Twitter and follow on Twitter. So those are just a couple reminders. And if you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm trying to watch the comments, so that's why I'm staring over here sometimes when others are talking, but I'm still trying to follow what they're talking about, so that when I come back, I know what the heck they're talking about. And Max, Andre, and Drew, if you could also watch that. And if you're another Udemy instructor who's been around for a while and you feel that you can answer the question, just hover over the name and click on the reply button and type your reply. I've also have been pasting in some links to websites that I know about that have some great resources, including that one that's www.ofire.com. That's Entrepreneur on Fire by John Lee Dumas, who is, I mean, exceptional at podcasting. This guy is making thousands and thousands of dollars with his podcasting, everything that he's built around that. If it comes to blogging, copyblogger.com is a really great resource. And I'll also be posting in some Udemy links like train.udemy.com, which I always tell new instructors to go to because there's a lot of great information, including marketing information on that page to help you out when you're starting off on Udemy. So we've talked about, I think, enough about webinars. Before we move into Facebook ads, I don't want to take too much time on targeted social media. I just basically wanted to say when it comes to social media that you should really target the areas that you want to promote your course in. Instead of going to these groups, and I run a group myself on there for promotions and marketing, I try to keep the focus on marketing, but I let people post their coupons on there. And just a reminder that there's instructors in those groups, so not all of them are going to be interested in your course. What you want to do is you want to find groups on Facebook and online forums that are specific for your niche. So if you're doing something like a course on Facebook advertising, or you're doing a course on email or online marketing or MailChimp like myself, that you find these places where people are talking about it. But when you go to those places, make sure that you don't just post your coupon and run. Be a part of the discussion. Get to know the group. Get people knowing who you are. And then when you feel like it's the right time, start sharing that stuff out. And chances are people are going to buy from you because, again, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. But just don't spam a group or spam a forum. You're not going to make too many friends. So Drew, Max, Andre, you want to say anything about that, about being more targeted on social media before we move on to talking about Facebook ads?
Well, I agree with you, is that especially Facebook groups and that, they would be a prime audience, as would be groups on LinkedIn. And I know all of that, but I haven't executed all of that. So thank you very much for reminding me and prodding me, because after we're done with this, I'm going to begin looking for Facebook and LinkedIn groups.
I think that that's a great idea, because LinkedIn is another place that I always forget about, that because that's more of a professional type website. So you're going to find really specific groups on there. But again, we just, need to make sure that we don't go into these groups and start saying, hey, I've got a course on Udemy, here's a coupon, because people are just going to say, forget about it,
Great advice.
I have something, because we have 34 people watching, and I know that we have some Udemy instructors. So hi to Jeremy, hi to Scott Duffy, and everyone, every other Udemy instructor that's watching us. But probably we also have instructors that are not yet instructors, people that are wanting to create their first course, but they just don't do it, and mainly because maybe they see us talking about video editing and social media and blogging and webinars and all that stuff, and they say, well, I do not have all the knowledge that it takes to do all those stuff and get all of those different skills. So what would you guys say to those instructors that haven't started out in Udemy yet about this road that you walk on when you start creating your first courses? Like, you don't have to know everything at once. You just go learning along the way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, Max. I know you mentioned that you've been on Udemy since 2011. I probably bought my first Udemy course maybe around that time or a year sooner. And right from the start, I was thinking, how can I get on this platform? What do I know? And we'll fast forward ahead 4 years later, did I finally convince myself that, what, I do know enough about something to put on here. And so it's really about just putting yourself out there. At the time, most of my knowledge was in the fitness endurance sports world, because that's what my main background is. But as I started getting more into social media and promoting myself as an endurance sports coach, I started learning more things. And, like Dennis will be quick to point out, if you know more than another audience, then technically you're an expert to them. So it's all about getting that message to the right people. I've been doing Facebook ads for just 2 years. There might be somebody watching this right now that's been on, running Facebook ads for longer and might know more than me. But if I'm conveying my message to somebody that's never run a Facebook ad campaign, then they're going to realize that I know a lot more than what they know, and they'll value that information. So it's all about taking action. What I've learned is most of this group instructors tend to share a lot of similar traits, whether it's trouble in social settings, being introverted, that sort of thing. That's why we kind of hesitate to take action. And so that's really my biggest key, is just put yourself out there, and the results will follow.
Yeah, and basically you put yourself out there, you provide value, and everything else will follow. And you need to know how to manage your time. That's really
right.
Something.
That's the trickiest thing, because I was listening to a Blab Dennis was on yesterday, and like he said in that, I've got a window right in front of me. if a squirrel runs by, I'm looking at that dang squirrel. You know, my attention span is very, very short, and I get distracted easily. So time management is huge for us.
Yeah, great. Hey, just real quick, Barb, thanks for the tip there. If you put //Q and a space, you can type out your question, and what that will do is it will flag it as a question to let me and the other guys know that someone has a question. So yes, I've heard about Fedora, but because we're focusing on Udemy marketing, not really going to touch on that because I did a Hangout. Actually, Dave, if you're there with us still, put a link to your Blab yesterday, and that's got some good information on Fedora because we were going to talk about Udemy yesterday, and it got into a discussion on Fedora. And I want to focus on the topic, which is Udemy marketing. Even though I've heard great things about Fedora, we'll leave it at Udemy today. And Dave, if he's there, he can post a link to his Blab. And that way you'll get some great information on that. And some of the other people there in chat can comment on it. What I would like to do is just kind of move on over into Facebook ads, because this is something that I've struggled with because I've done a few Facebook ads. And if you don't know how to do it right, then basically what you're doing is you're just making Mark Zuckerberg richer and throwing money out the door. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you get the right amount of bang for your buck. And it can be effective. I've done a few where I've seen some results with it. I've done a few other things that we won't necessarily talk about today on Blab, but some giveaways, which Drew knows about, which I've seen some interesting results with that, generating some likes on Facebook pages, which you can do with Facebook ads. And so we'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Drew, and you can give them a little bit of background on what Facebook ads does and kind of where you go. And then maybe Drew and Andre can chime in after you talk a little bit about their experience with Facebook ads.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just piggyback on Dennis's giveaway comment real quick. We all know giveaways are a great way to kind of build an audience. So I jumped on that bandwagon in the past couple weeks, and in 5 days, I have 1,300 email subscribers. Now, before you think that's pretty cool, what I've discovered is there's a whole world out there of people that scour the internet for giveaways and free stuff. So now I have an email list of 1,300 people that are interested in winning free stuff. So now my job is to figure out what can I promote to those people to somehow monetize that. So I would definitely caution you. I'm not saying the giveaway aspect isn't good, but really think about what you're giving away before you do that. So Facebook is a great platform. Social media is a great platform to get your name out there. But let's say you're promoting a gym, you're a personal trainer, and instead of giving away 1 month's free training, you decide to give away an iPhone. So do you think that all those people that enter your giveaway via Facebook, Twitter, or whatnot are going to be very targeted? So just ponder that for a bit if you're going to go the giveaway route. So now I'm in what I told Dennis is giveaway hell. I'm getting about 400 subscribers a day of people that I'm going to have to rethink how to market them because they're not actually interested in my end product. So there's a learning lesson there. So now we'll get into some Facebook ads. The videos I shared, they're probably now way up the list. I'll repost them. One was titled "The Power of Facebook." And so in that one, I just really show you kind of all the information that Facebook gathers on their audience. Most people will assume that if you Facebook determines that you like certain pages. So anytime you like a page, Facebook's putting you in a bucket. That's partially true, but it's much more than that. If you get in a discussion talking about a certain topic, Facebook will put you in a bucket based on that discussion. If you search something on Google, Facebook's putting you in a bucket for what you searched on Google. So it's pretty crazy to see. I made that video mainly for my friends and family that got tired of seeing ads all the time. Because I joke, as a marketer, I don't opt out of any of those, because you can also reverse engineer ads you see. And I show you how to do that in the video as well. So we have somebody watching this Blab, I believe, that shared a link to their website, christianstrategiesforhealth.com. And I kind of want to use their site as an example of what you can do with Facebook ads. So right there on their site, they've got two very distinct groups, Christians and health, or, being healthy, that sort of thing. So what you're able to do with some ad management platforms is you can actually intersect those two audiences. So that person could technically run ads to people that are Christians and people that are into healthy eating, and find that small number. So you might have Christians in one hand, healthy eaters in another. What we're doing is kind of mashing them up and running a targeted ad to that fine-tuned audience. I'll let you know, you can't actually do that through Facebook directly. They have the capability. They just haven't released it to all marketers yet. So you have to use a third-party platform like AdEspresso or Quaya. There's some others out there, I'm not sure, but those are the two I've tried and use. But that's kind of the tip of the iceberg of what you can really do, as opposed to running an ad to people that are Christians or healthy eaters. You can run an ad to what we call and targeting. So if you watch that video, you'll kind of get an idea of what you can do. Like I've shared with Dennis, and I know I've mentioned it a couple times, the targeting pixels, the retargeting, and that sort of thing. I would highly suggest reading Facebook's advertising guidelines before you jump into this, because they are very, very strict on what you have on your pages. Scott, saw your question there. I will repost the links to the YouTube videos, so they're a little more down in the chat there. But read Facebook's advertising guidelines. You can just Google it, Facebook advertising guidelines, and read it. You need to have certain footer menus and pages on your website before you can add those pixels: privacy policy, a disclaimer, and a contact page. I only know this because a year ago I got an account banned because I forgot to put those on there, and I started running conversion ads to the page. And once you're banned by Facebook, there is no saying, "I'm sorry, I added the proper pages. Can you reinstate me?" So do it right from the start, and you don't have to kind of skirt around. I do cover that in my course, but I also have YouTube videos on how to do that. So those are my big keys. You don't have to run page likes. I know I get a lot of questions on, Drew, should I just run a page like campaign to build my page up so people see that I have 300-400 people that like my page? I prefer to run what they call clicks to website ads to blog posts, like I mentioned earlier, because people will like your page from that, and they're liking your page because they enjoyed your content, they actually got something out of it. They might not convert, they might not sign up to your email list, but those are much more targeted likes as opposed to running a like campaign and just getting clickers to like your page.
What about your results with your campaigns? Have you been seeing good results? Have they improved as you go learning new things? Do you recommend that to other people who have blog posts and other content lying around?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've learned along the way, is that promoting blog posts gets a lot better reaction, because the biggest thing to keep in mind with running Facebook ad campaigns is that nobody hops on Facebook yet, at least, to buy something. They get on there to find out what their friend had for dinner last night, what their favorite baseball team did the day before. And as marketers, we're on there, looking for content, some tips, tricks, that sort of thing. We're not on there to, I'm scrolling through my news feed hoping that somebody's going to try to sell me $1,000 social media course. So it's all about sharing that relative content and promoting things. Now, the caveat is if your business is a product, if you're selling little, widgets or shoes or something like that, you might still have a blog where you talk about it. So that's different. We're, as Udemy instructors, we're trying to promote ourselves and our courses. But for instance, I'm looking at this christianstrategiesforhealth.com, and I went over to their blog, and they it looks like Diane. So hi Diane, thanks for sharing your website. She's got some cool articles on there. So what she could do is promote, maybe one of her more popular blog posts, have an opt-in on that page, maybe have a timed opt-in after 30 seconds. So somebody's reading her blog post and it pops up. Would you like to learn more about eating healthy as a Christian, and signs up for a discount on their services and that sort of thing. So that's where I see it a lot more powerful. That's a lot different than when I started a couple years ago. I'll shamefully admit that I started previously because I got into the whole t-shirt thing. I'm sure we've seen the thousands of little catchy meme t-shirts floating around Facebook. I was one of those people a couple years ago. And those definitely are more salesy. Hey, do you like this saying on this shirt? Please buy it. Sort of thing. So you definitely have to evaluate what you're trying to offer, what you're trying to gain from that. And the main reason I like to promote the blog post and hope to get email opt-ins is because even though it doesn't look like Facebook's going anywhere anytime soon, most likely it's not going to be around forever. But look how email has stood the test of time, as you guys can attest. So in those custom audiences within Facebook, which before I'll wrap up with retargeting. If anybody's heard the word retargeting, what it means is you're capturing those leads, whether they're in emails or custom audiences from website visitors, and you're promoting an ad directly to them. So say, for instance, I run an ad for people that went to a certain blog post. I'll say something along the lines, did you like all those tips you learned, adding custom audience tracking pixels to your WordPress website? Here's my free ebook for 7 more tips and tricks to use with your WordPress website. That sort of thing. So you're directly speaking to that individual, as opposed to just running an ad for, hey, here's my free ebook. You have no idea who I am, but I want your email address. You're literally saying, I know you went to my website. If you liked the content, here's even more content that will help you out along the way. And then you utilize that email list to talk about your consulting services, your course, that sort of thing. So that's kind of how I go about it. I know we've got some questions, so I'll pass it on to the next person and try to answer some of these questions over in the chat.
Thanks, Drew. I appreciate it. And sorry about, I was thinking that I didn't have to mute my microphone, but apparently if I don't and I'm typing, I'm a loud typer, so I apologize about the typing noises. I'm multitasking, answering questions and lights and things like that going off all over the place. Andre, since you do online marketing, have you used Facebook ads or maybe Google ads?
I have not. I'm pretty familiar with both, but I've never. I used Google Ads a couple years back, but I have not done Facebook ads. I'm really guilty of not using an excellent tool. I have not.
Myself.
Most of my exposure has been through YouTube, blogging, and email. My largest audience, of course, came from the meetup group I had. Where I had close to 800 individuals.
Yeah. Eileen Maxx is going to speak here in just a moment. And Andre, because you mentioned YouTube, we are going to talk about YouTube. And I think that'll probably wrap it up for the Blab, and then we'll take some questions. We're approaching almost 10 o'clock, so we're at an hour and a half. So you're welcome. I see somebody saying thanks. I appreciate that. Just real quick, let's do some reminders here before we move on and talk about YouTube and email marketing. We'll have Maxx talk about list building here in just a moment. Over here to the upper left where it says tell a little bird, I would love it if you clicked on that. If everybody who's participating, if we could all click on that right now and just send out a mass notification on Twitter. I love trying this stuff out. And also up there at the top, if you want to connect with today's participants, connect by hovering over their name and clicking on follow. Follow them on Twitter. This is the way that we help other people out. And same thing with, I go into my Twitter, and when I see somebody sharing a coupon, I make sure that I favorite it or I retweet it. So that's a couple of things to remember. The props there, the hands there, if you want to give hands up, I guess props. I don't know why they do that. I told somebody I thought it was like palm reading or something like that. But anyway, so if you want to give a shout out, I think they should call it a shout out to those who are talking today. And maybe towards the end, we can let a couple of other people, if some people want to fall out and let some other people jump in, we can do that too. But the questions, definitely that /Q space and then your question. That way we can see those questions that you have, and that we'll go ahead and try to get those answered. Now, I'm trying to watch that as I'm not the speaker. But anyway, enough rambling on there. Let's go ahead. I love email marketing. I love MailChimp. I've been using MailChimp for a couple of years because it's forever free. They have a forever free plan that allows you to send up to 2,000 subscribers, send them up to 12,000 messages, not each subscriber, but a total of 12,000 each month. I teach a course on that. I use MailChimp weekly to run my businesses. And from MailChimp, I have generated several $100s with my email list that continues to grow daily. And this is why I think that instructors should start now. Do not wait. As soon as we're done, go to MailChimp, go to some of the other ones. Maxx will mention some of those, and start building your list today. There's money in the list, and this is how you can let people know about your future courses, books, whatever you're doing. So Maxx, Take it away.
It's the best way to keep people updated. And the thing about the lists is that they are yours. You know, whether you go with MailChimp or Aweber or regardless, you can just export your list and take it over somewhere else, and you're good to go. The good thing about MailChimp is exactly what you're saying. The fact that they have this forever free plan makes it absolutely like a no-brainer to just sign up there and start seeing how you can start getting people's email address. Some people overlook email marketing, but they really shouldn't. And as you said, I think that with the forever free plan, you're like unlocking certain features as you go using the platform. For example, A/B testing or some of the web form integrations. You just go up like unlocking them when you use the platform. And the 2,000 subscriber threshold, I think that if you have more than 2,000 subscribers, you can pay an ESP for them to handle your data. So that's basically great. What we do is that I had a really large list back in 2012. We had nearly 80,000 subscribers.
Wow.
But most of them weren't that much targeted. So I had a really hard time trying to make big bucks out of selling to that list. So I had to start cleaning it up and telling people that they should unsubscribe if they don't want to get the emails, or most of them started getting the spam messages. So what I suggest that you start doing whenever you start building a list is not about the amount of people that you have in your list. It's about the quality and the responsiveness of your subscribers. If people actually open and read your emails, it's better to have 100 loyal followers than 1,000 lousy ones. So it's really important that, and I'm going to link it to what Drew said, whenever you have a blog and you have content on that blog and you have, for example, an opt-in form, you know that people that are opting into your list are the ones that are interested in the topics that are in the blog post and the blog itself. So if you choose a niche and you start creating a lot of content on that niche and you start populating your blog with posts, videos, slides, articles, tutorials, walkthroughs, how-tos, I don't know, there's a lot of different types of content that you can create. And you just start building your list on there. And you don't use it just to sell people something. You use them to bring them back to your website. And that's how they start discovering new things. That's how they can end up in forums like this one. And basically, it's starting a conversation with your audience. And that's something that, for example, Pat Flynn is doing like crazy. He has a really, really large list. He just released a mobile app in which people can access their podcast and his blog, and basically on one place. And he's great at everything, at creating content. He also sends blog posts that are just crafted for people to read it on their mails. So he really knows how to engage with people. He asks questions, he gets answers, and so on. So everyone should be building their list regardless of the niche that they are in.
You know, let me ask you, how did you, what are the best methods that you have found to build that list? I agree that you have to have the list, but I think that oftentimes the hard part is how do you get people into that list? What do you use?
Well, for that, I have tried almost every plugin with WordPress. Yeah. But I really like, SumoMe has a really good feature because you can basically do whatever you want with opt-in boxes with SumoMe. But the one that I'm a designer, so the one that I like best is Opt-in Monster. They have really amazing designs for their opt-in boxes, and basically you can get a really cool animated pop-up box in your content, and people just subscribe. The other thing that I also tried and it works really well is the lead pages, the lead boxes feature from lead pages, in which people can actually trigger opt-in boxes by clicking, for example, on a link. You have a certain article and you have certain links within that article, and whenever people click on those links, they get an opt-in box on their screen. So basically, whenever people do something, they take an action and they get an opt-in box as a result, they're most likely to put their emails as if they just stumble across a pop-up that just interrupt their reading. So basically, that's something really great. Also, you can if you don't have lead pages, you can create an opt-in page, a separate page, and you just link it to your blog post. You just start clicking the words and making them links, and you start creating different opt-in pages according to the words that you're using as links. So there are a lot of different things that you can do to increase your subscribers, but basically you need to have opt-in boxes on your content, and the more content you have, the more subscribers you'll get.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the reasons why I started talking about blogging first, because I believe that once you have a blog, that's how you tie all of these other things that we're talking about together. And we're going to talk about YouTube here in just a moment, but some of the stuff that Maxx talked about, lead pages, opt-in monster, there's a bunch of other ones out there that I've used. And that's another course that I'm working on with my course that I'm working on doing webinars, is WordPress resources, because there's so many of these tools out there, like Opt-in Monster and some of these plugins that come along and then they're gone. But you need to know like what each one does and see maybe a visual presentation of that. So I've been working on something like that, because there's just a lot of ways that you can do this, and some of them are free and some of them are what they call a premium plugin that maybe have a one-time cost or a subscription cost. But tying all of these things together on your blog is important, because he talked about building your mailing list. That's how you keep people coming back to your blog, because it creates a cycle. And so thanks, Maxx. I really appreciate it. Do you have anything else that you want to add? Or Drew, do you want to add anything to what Maxx had talked about?
Not really to add to that, because he hit the nail on the head. One thing I know Jeremy put in the chat over here that I forgot to mention, that you can find on the internet, and I'm in the process of doing some shorter videos for my YouTube channel that people can digest a little quicker. Jeremy mentioned that audience insights is your friend. And so if you're new to Facebook ads, when you go in your ads manager, in the top level there under tools is a link called Audience Insights. It's within Facebook. It allows you to research different interests and targets. So you can start typing things in there and go down all kinds of cool little rabbit holes to find different interests that you can potentially target. Not all pages and interests are targetable. So if you do have a Facebook ads account, go into Ads Manager. The very top where it says tools, there'll be a drop down, click Audience Insights, and be prepared to waste at least 3 days of your life. That's all.
Yes, we have a question. Anyone tested pop-up domination? Yes, I've used pop-up domination, but I think I would recommend it. I just haven't used it in a while because I've moved on to SumoMe. And I just think that that's more effective and at generating leads. What are your thoughts on that, Maxx?
Well, I told you that SumoMe was one of the things that we use right now.
Yeah.
It's great because they have this scroll bar, this bar on top that you just eventually drags down, doesn't cover all of your content, and you just type in your emails, And Well, there are two approaches to email marketing, which is the intrusive and the non-intrusive way. Some people say that pop-ups work, and some people say that pop-ups doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, if you're reading something interesting, regardless if you have an intrusive or non-intrusive opt-in box, if the content is good, you're just going to subscribe. And I do it a lot. Like, it's basically like I'm on autopilot and I just start subscribing to lists that I find interesting and people that I think that could provide value in the future, regardless if they're trying to sell something or not. But SumoMe is great because they have a lot of optimization features, also targeting, segmentation, they have analytics. It's basically great. And you can do all of that with the free version of it as well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll move on and talk a little bit about YouTube. But before we do that, just a couple of reminders. Wanted to let you know that I run a group on Facebook called Udemy Course Marketing and Promotion Hangout. If you're not a member of that group, you can find it by typing in those words. We're over 3,000 members, and you can come in and promote your course there. You just need to follow the guidelines for the group. And I post a lot of marketing information, including these past Hangouts, which Drew's been on one, Maxx has been on one. A lot of instructors, like the very first one that I did, Alan Hill, who's one of the top instructors on Udemy, did a Hangout, and he's got some awesome information. He only did 32 cents his first month that he was on Udemy, and the guy's a superstar right now, as well as people like Phil Ebener, who I believe is hanging out with us today, and Rob Cubbin and Matt Bernstein. I mean, there's so many instructors that have joined me that have shared some great information. So you can find that information by going to onlinecoursecoupons.com/hangouts. You'll find information on my course, and then you'll find a list of all of those past Hangouts. I also want to remind you that you can share your course on onlinecoursecoupons.com for free, and I work hard at promoting those courses. So this is just another way that I help people off of Facebook, including OneBuckCourses.com, which has been really popular at promoting courses for just $1. Now, some people aren't too keen on that because I can understand that people put a lot of work into their courses, but it's a great way for newbies to start building their audience, earn a little bit of money, and have future students to market future courses to. So those are just a couple of ways that you can do that. And I'm also going to give a shout out to my friend Scott Duffy and Sean Kay, who have a website called CourseCrushers.com, which they put out daily deals on courses that are high quality courses on Udemy. So check out those sites, because these are other ways that you can promote out there to people that you might not have access to, because I've got people coming to my website, they've got people coming to their website that might not touch Udemy. So these are great ways for you to get your courses out there. So let's go ahead and move over to YouTube. And it's another great way to promote your course. It's just like SlideShare, where you already have your PDFs or your slides or your PowerPoint, and you can save those and put those onto SlideShare. You can do the same thing with YouTube. You've already got video, so why not share it out on YouTube and promote your course and send people over to YouTube? So Andre, why don't you go ahead and talk about some of your experience with YouTube and maybe some suggestions you can give to instructors?
Well, I put the intro video and maybe some key lectures on YouTube, and on the description I have a link to the course, and I basically just started doing that, and I've had a little bit of success, but I'm very open to suggestions as to how to improve that. But like I said, I always have the intro videos on YouTube, and then maybe some lectures that have that may be very focused on a particular area.
I had to take myself off of mute there. Hey, I just want to let, if you have a YouTube channel, go ahead and post your YouTube channel over here in the comments and let people know what you're doing as far as promoting your Udemy courses on YouTube there. I need more coffee. I think what we're going to do is we're at about an hour and a half. We can talk a little bit more about YouTube. I just think it's a great platform. There's actually in the Hangouts that I did, if you go to that online courses, onlinecoursecoupons.com/Hangouts, Mitch Stevens is a Udemy instructor who has a lot of great knowledge about YouTube. And that's kind of where he got his start with YouTube and being an iPhone expert. And so take a look at that Hangout because it gives some great information on some things that you can do, especially with the new cards that they have on YouTube. And you can do the subscribe button. That's something that I hadn't been doing for a long time. At the bottom of the video, you can get people to subscribe and follow you on YouTube. And each time that you release a new video, they're going to get notification that you have a new video out. And you can share, like do an intro to your course, and that can be your own intro. Or you can use a service like Fiverr.com and have someone professionally produce an intro. Or you can go to someone like Jeremy, who I believe he's offering a gig on Fiverr and doing some of those little promotions and things like that that get people's attention. So he heard his name, so he's saying, what? So your gig on Fiverr, you showed on the Udemy Studio, you were talking about a promotion video that you did. So I was just talking about that Fiverr is a place to go, and I thought that you were offering some kind of services like that. So, and Scott is saying lead pages is okay, but he's getting tired of the look of those pages. Yeah, that's true, but I believe that they have like where you can buy some of those pages, the templates from other people who are creating them. I've seen some of those, and some of them look pretty nice. But yeah, the more people that use lead pages, the more chances somebody's going to have a look and feel just like yours. But the chances of somebody running or hitting your landing page, because I've created landing pages for my courses, the chances that somebody's going to see that on your site and somewhere else, it's just like winning the lottery or being struck by lightning. It's not, chances are it's not going to happen. Hopefully not. But if you have questions, go ahead and hit /Q.
I saw in the discussions that they were speaking about the guy that posted the photo like 2 days ago, the one that created the iOS 9 Swift course in Arabic.
Oh, yeah, the $18,000?
Yeah, he basically found the forum and just started posting a coupon, and he made like, it's crazy because he made like $17,000 in promotional sales, and at the same time we lost someone, right? And at the same time he had like $65 in Udemy Organic, so it was crazy for the first month and the third quarter. Yeah, he paid. It was a great investment if you ask me, Scott.
Yeah, Drew will be right back. He had to drop out for just a moment, so we'll leave that seat open for him. But yeah, that was really interesting. Now, I had heard that he had actually spent like a couple of thousand on advertising. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Scott is saying yes. But that's a great return on his investment, I would say, don't you think?
Yeah, it's of course, it's an investment.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you'd have to make sure that you're really targeted on who you're advertising. Yeah, 18,400 is okay. All right. Exactly where did he advertise? I'm not sure. Have you guys heard where he was doing advertising at?
Yeah, it was on the highest ranked developing forum in his country.
For Arabic speakers?
Yeah.
Okay, for the yeah, I know. I was telling Dave Espino, I said maybe I should learn Arabic and start. I mean, when you think about it, it's that there's so many places around the world that are still untapped. You know, for Spanish speakers, for you know, Russian, Arabic, French. You know, not everyone knows English, and so if you want to tap into some of these untapped markets, it could be a good idea if you know a second language. I know a little bit of French, and that's about it. I was going to take German, and they didn't teach German in my high school, and so, which is funny because my mother is Swiss and my grandmother spoke Swiss German, and I never learned it. And she would speak to me in Swiss German, and I would just agree with her. And I think, Andre, aren't you from Austria? Did I see that?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So that's, I mean,
and, I used to speak fluent German, but I haven't spoken it in quite a while and very seldom have the opportunity to, so it's kind of escaped me.
Yeah, I just know Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Ein bisschen, yeah.
So I would just go to my grandmother, yeah. And then say, Grandma, now can you repeat that in English for me, please?
Right.
So yeah, welcome back, Drew. So yeah, so let's see. So we spoke about where he advertised at, and let's see. So Scott is just saying that leading iOS website in Arabic. Translation courses are hot and anything, but not necessarily profitable from what he hears. So that's interesting. So again, /Q, a space, and then your question, and that will let us know that you have a question. And Jeremy says, all of us in Florida, they're sweating. You know what? We went through like one of the hottest summers that we've had here in Boise. Several days at 106 degrees or whatever. It says that it's 66 degrees out. This is my favorite time of the year in Idaho. We have beautiful fall weather. I can't wait for the trees to start changing. And last year, we had 70 degrees the first week of November, and then we went to like -8 degrees, and it damaged a lot of trees. It was just so weird, but I love the snow. I've been to Florida, and Maxx has been to Florida. He lived in Miami for quite a while, but you're clear. He's clear down in Chile, so way down south. It's
over here.
It's almost spring, right?
Yeah, we have a few warm days, but the night is definitely cold.
Yeah. Who's got the dog? Is that Drew?
Yeah, it's mine. I'm going to close the window.
Oh.
Crazy.
Yeah. So is it beard season? Thanks, Jeremy. Yes, it is.
I figured it's the hottest time of the year here in Florida, so why not grow some facial hair to make my head even warmer?
Yeah. So what's the deal with affiliates for Udemy? Well, I can let you know that I'm an affiliate myself. It's just something, as an entrepreneur, it's something that I decided to do when I joined Udemy because I want to be able to help instructors to market their courses in other places. And the affiliate marketing is a program that allows me to do that and have some compensation because it's not cheap to run the websites that I have. It does take time for me to get that set up and do the promotions. OnlineCourseCoupons.com and OneBuckCourses.com. Sounds like horses, but it's courses. Actually do really well. I mean, I've seen Drew's had some success with his Facebook course at $1, has signed up several new people. It's his only course right now, but once he releases another course, he's already got those students who he can or cross-market to and promote the other course to. So some people, they feel differently because when you do affiliate marketing, you got to share a piece of the pie. You got to share it with Udemy, the affiliate marketer, and then the instructor gets some too. So it really depends on how you see it and how effective you want your marketing to be. You've got to remember that when somebody like myself as an affiliate marketer goes out and markets your course, that I have access to people that you don't. I personally have a mailing list of a couple of thousand on my mailing list that each week when I do the onebuckcourse.com promotions, I send out to over 2,000 people. And so hopefully some people subscribe, and hopefully they go over to online course coupons and maybe find a course that's at a higher price and buy something like that. But all of those sites out there that I list on my marketing course are usually affiliate marketers, and they have access to people that I don't have access to. So the more that you're out there, the more chances that you're going to get somebody enrolling for your course. But you yourself is where you're going to make the most money. So therefore, the blogging, the Facebook ads, the YouTube, the email marketing, that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, because Udemy is only going to take a small percentage and you're going to get most of that. So it's up to you exactly how you want to market your course. But I would say that you look at affiliate marketing and sharing it out on those websites like Scott's website, Course Crushers. And I don't even think on theirs, I don't think that they're taking anything at this time. I could be wrong, but I think that they're just looking for quality courses to send out deals to and market on Facebook and some other stuff that he and Sean are doing. But there's all kinds of different ways to get out there and get your course out there.
And that's a good point, Dennis. And one thing I'll mention, if any of you are in the Udemy Studio group on Facebook, or you're new to Udemy, putting out your course or getting ready to, the thing I see the most on there is people complaining that people got in their $197 course for $9, $19, what have you. What they fail to realize is most likely they wouldn't have had access to that person or those people otherwise. And so as you kind of get used to the Udemy platform, you quickly realize that you need to find ways to capture them outside of Udemy, which is kind of tricky. But, if you're solely relying on or the hope of people paying full price for your Udemy course, you're going to be, let down right off the bat. So take it as you wouldn't have had those people in your course to begin with. You're now building an audience, even though you can't directly send out a message saying, hey, go opt into this email address on this website. There are ways to do it by adding bonus lectures, little slides within your course after it's published that say, hey, would you like some more content or that sort of thing? Check out my website, what have you. But view it as a platform to brand yourself and present yourself as the expert in your field, not necessarily with the hope of making a bunch of money on Udemy. I think there was another instructor the other day mentioned that he views his Udemy income as bonus income, because his and as most of our main goals is to build our email list or present ourselves as an expert in our field, not necessarily be the most well-known Udemy instructor. So take advantage of those affiliate offers, get your site on coupon websites, Dennis's websites, join those groups, just get your name out there and your course out there and present yourself as the expert in your field.
Yeah, it takes a while too. I know that some people, that I know I've known Jeremy for a while, and we've messaged back and forth before, and I've done that with other instructors who come on board and they're not seeing results right away. Well, I did $18 or $16 or something like that the first month in July of 2004. And I think that I took myself out and had a nice dinner or something like that. And then as I added more courses, I started seeing that increase. I spent time in the studio and the faculty lounge and just kind of studied what other people were doing. I started the Hangouts like this and had people like Alan Hill and Grant Wehrle and Matt Bernstein, who had been doing really well. Rob Cubbin, he's one that you should follow at robcubbin.com. He's awesome at passive income. He's been doing it a while. The guy makes $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Maxx does really well, and he's been doing it for a while. So it takes time if you don't see results right away. And again, I started off the beginning of today's Blab that I didn't have a decent month, but I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm not going to be negative about it. I have goals in mind on what I want to do. And there's always these discussions about affiliate marketing or free coupons or whatever, or people stealing my course or whatever. My goal is to make X amount of dollars a month at Udemy and the other stuff that I do around it, continue making more courses, work at improving the courses that I've already released, look forward to Black Friday coming up in November because I know how well people did last year on Black Friday, and just continue what I'm doing and trying to keep a positive attitude and not letting a slow month. Yesterday was the first day of the month. I did $1 yesterday, but I'm not going to let that get me down saying, oh no, it's going to be like last 2 months or something like that. No, this is going to be a great month. It's going to be my best month ever. And I'm going to work hard at doing that by doing the stuff that I'm talking about, because I had a really good month. I have 4 courses and I did 1,200 in May. And some people might not think that, like, oh, okay, well, it's only $1,200 and Alan Hill does that in a day or whatever. But I've been on Udemy for just over a year, and I've seen the path that other instructors take. Instructors like Phil Ebener, who, if he's still around, had an awesome month. The guy did over 13,000 last month and has averaged $9,000 a month because he's doing the Udemy courses. He's doing books. He's doing all of the right things and keeping a positive attitude about it. And look where he's at now. And we can be there, and you can be there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Very good.
So let's see. We're hearing that Black Friday thing a lot. Is that like it is? It's just like everything else. Instead of running to the Target or Walmart and dealing with crowds and mad people and all of that, you just go to udemy.com and get a great deal on courses. It was a progressive sell, as I remember. So it started out in mid-November. What's that?
12 days.
12 days.
Yeah, $1 each day.
Each day. Yeah. Yeah. And so as it got closer to Black Friday, people were still buying at those prices, and a lot of instructors did extremely well. I only had, I think, like 1 course out at that time, and I did several $100s because I had just started in July and was just learning Udemy. And then once I got into the new year, I had already knew everything, but we were past Black Friday. But I'm looking forward to it. That's why I'm trying to get these courses done. So yeah. Make more courses and focus on the courses that you have. Andre, you have several courses out. I know Max does. Drew, hopefully you'll get some, a course or 2 out before Black Friday. I know it can be tough. I mean, I struggle with that myself sometimes. I have some health issues that I deal with. I took a vacation, came back and ended up in the hospital. But, things like that happen and you just keep going.
Yep.
So, yeah, anything else? Like, do we have any other questions? Because I don't want to go over too long. I'm sorry that we weren't able to bring people in. This was the first time that I've done this. So please give the titles you have done. The titles of the courses, is that what you're asking about, Douglas? Yes. Drew, go ahead and give the title of your course.
Title of my course is Facebook Ads Mastery, so I will type that.
And Andre?
Yep.
Go ahead and rattle off your courses, because Maxx is probably going to have to pull out something for his courses.
Okay. The last one is the the four critical steps towards online marketing success.
And what about, you have a couple of other ones?
Yeah, they're
That's okay.
Yeah, the the fundamentals. Excuse me. The fundamentals of online marketing success, and the other one is the seven costly mistakes that derail online marketers.
Great, thank you. And maybe like in the in my group, if you want, if you post some coupons in there, people can come on over and take advantage of that. Maxx, you have quite a few courses, so you want to go ahead and rattle those off and let people know what you teach?
What we are promoting now is the list building course, because that's the one that we are adding content. We also have the Udemy Superhero course, which is basically a course on how to create a course. But what we are doing now is that each month we are posting our income and saying what we did, what we didn't do. For example, what we did last month that increased a lot of our promotions was to include GIFs in the announcements. And basically we can give a lot of like movement by adding GIFs as images in your announcements. So instead of telling people click this link, we put a button and then we put a hand over it so that it emulates like a hand clicking a button. But I'm going to post a link to the list building course, also to the profile, because we have a really successful SEO course, and that course alone is making over 5,000 each month, and people are like rooting over it. My co-instructor Matt is in the forums every day, and he has like an average response time of like 20 minutes. So anyone that posts a question or needs help with their sites, for example, we have logged into people's WordPress sites, and we ourselves have increased their site speed and so on. So it's basically a full package with our courses. So I'm going to post the links to our list building course and our profile here as well.
Great, thank you. I just want to remind everyone, when we're done with today's broadcast, I would love it if you shared this out on Twitter and social media. Just let other people know about it. You can always reach me on Twitter there at social media DJS, and you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ DJ, social media DJ on Facebook. So facebook.com/ social media DJ. You can find me on there. Just real quick, my courses that I have, I've got my first course was on WordPress profits, marketing with WordPress plugins and tools. So I wrote a book several years ago on social media. I talk about the tools that I use with WordPress to promote this book. I sold over 1,000 copies of this book using WordPress, and over 9,000 of copies were downloaded when I did the Kindle freebie type promotion on Amazon.com. So I did my first course on that, and that was the first course that I moved from my website over to Udemy. And then I came up with a course on MailChimp on list building, because I use that and use their forever free plan, and believe that anybody who's an instructor, or if you're writing your own book, should use something like that to promote and sell to more people. And then I came up with a course on Kindle using WordPress to maximize your profits. So just targeted specifically towards authors and ways for you to gather information, because the typical author will promote their book on Amazon Kindle, which Amazon's not going to give you the information of those who buy your book. And just like with some other sites out there, Udemy, we're able to see that kind of stuff, who's purchasing our courses. And the last one is a course that I did on how to earn more revenue by posting. There's over 50 different places that I have researched, along with Matt Bernstein, who helped me out by providing me some information that he had found, where to go online where you can post those course coupons, sites like Reddit and all of these other Facebook groups that are out there that come and go. So take a look at that, as well as the Hangouts that I've done by going to onlinecoursecoupons.com/Hangouts. And you'll be able to see those Hangouts with Phil Ebener, with Rob Cubbins, Mitch Stevens, Maxx, Rob, I already said Rob there, Grant Weirley, Alan Hill was on the first one. So go back and watch those and learn from some of those things that they talk about. Those guys are the experts that have been around for a while and make a lot more money than I do on Udemy. But I brought them on board with me for these Hangouts because I wanted to learn from them. So do we have any more questions before we wrap it up? It is 10:30 here. And I'm sure that it's a little bit later where Drew and Andre are, and Maxx is around the same time zone.
Yeah.
Can we go another 2 hours? Sure.
No. No.
We can step out, go have lunch, and bring it back and continue. I hope this was helpful for everyone.
Very much so.
And I want to do this again because I think this is a really cool platform. The replay, you're automatically going to get an email within 24 hours.
Wow.
And so, yes, I'll do more of these. I want to do different topics and things like that, or maybe do them every month because I want to encourage people. It's the 2nd of September. Now's the time. The other months, they're gone. They're off the slate. It's September. Make it your best month ever. Set up goals. Work with other instructors. Look for, like, one of the things that I'm doing is starting a mastermind group with some instructors to see how that works. And I've got information posted within the group on Facebook. And just talk with other instructors. What's working well for you? What's not working well? Don't get discouraged. If you have a bad month, a bad day or whatever, it's not the end of the world. I know people have bills to pay. I have bills to pay too. I'll be honest, I live with my folks, and my goal is to move out next September because I'm a victim of the .com crash in the economy. And Drew and I have talked about that. You know, we came to Udemy because we want to work for ourselves. And we want the freedom of working for ourselves, and Udemy allows us that freedom. So keep a positive attitude, and if you have any questions, please contact myself, Drew, if you want more information on Facebook ads, Maxx, if you want more information on email marketing, Andre on YouTube and online marketing. You can get a hold of us through Twitter or through Facebook. And they're all in the Udemy promotion and marketing hangout groups, so you can find them there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast and say adios and have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, Drew, Maxx, and Andre for joining us in the discussion. And thanks, everybody else, for your comments and your questions. And we'll see you later.
And Maxx,
thank you for
Maxx wins.
Yeah, what do we win?
Bye-bye.
All right, see y'all. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, we lost him.